My name is Marquita Atkins Woods. I'm the founder and executive director of Destination Innovation, Inc. And in this space, we're talking about our program, Cure Violence ICT. Cure Violence is an evidence-based initiative that understands that gun violence is a public health crisis. With Cure Violence ICT, we are a collaboration with the city, Wichita State University, and the community that is working hard to get in front of the gun violence that's happening in our communities.
We're very unique in our approach because when violent situations do occur, we don't show up looking to put people in jail or anything like that. We try to get to the root of the issue, which a lot of times is underlining problems about why people are acting out, whether it's education or people need medication or people need therapy. So we're able to get to the root of that cause and offer those wraparound services, which is something that law enforcement and different organizations don't do because it's not their job.
My name is Essex Sims. I am a violence interrupter with Cure Violence ICT. As a violence interrupter, my role is to identify and detect ongoing conflicts in the community and also on the spur conflicts, and then stepping in to mediate those conflicts. We learn about different conflicts by being out in the community, actually walking up on certain conflicts, or also by community reaching out to us, whether it be family or just members of the community reaching out to us with information about conflicts that may be going on that they have insight on.
It's important that we already have relationships because it's time sensitive. The situations that we're dealing with are really time sensitive. So with us already bypassing the relationship building part of the process by already having certain relationships established, it really speeds up the process of us actually getting to the root of the issue. So we can skip a 2 or 3 week process with the kind of honeymoon phase because people already know who we are. So it allows us to really just jump right in and get to the root of the issue. Connecting people to resources is important because it gives them a sense of hope. It gives them a sense of belonging. A lot of the individuals that we work with, they have a lot of areas that they're lacking in. So with us having these different outlets and these different wraparound services that we offer, we're able to give them some sense of belonging when we get them connected to those people and they get what they need. Kind of builds their confidence and helps them have a better sense of self.
What makes me a great violence interrupter is I used to live that life. I was once involved in that life, so I'm very familiar with the ins and outs of it. And so just coming from that lifestyle, that background, it gives me an opportunity to connect with people and meet them where they are. So my lived experience with gangs, I actually went to prison for 28 years. Was involved in some gang-related stuff and a situation where someone was no longer with us, a case that I was involved in. And so that's part of my experience, man, going to prison for that long and bringing that experience home and being able to talk to young people about that experience and what it's like, and just to be able to relate to them that ultimately if you continue to live this way, you make certain decisions and choices, like this is a possibility of where you can end up. When I share my experience of the time that I spent in prison, a lot of the reaction is shock. Like they can't believe I spent that much time in prison. And a lot of times their response is, man, I can't imagine, or I would never want to go to prison, or I never want to end up in a situation where I'm gone for that long away from my family or my friends or anything like that. So we just that gives us a conversation. That opens the door for us to have a conversation. What are we doing to prevent that? Or what do we need to do to prevent that? And so we can start opening up and having a dialogue about the choices and the changes that need to be made.
At DI, we have this saying that our stories are our sword and not our crutches. And we say that because we're not looking for people to feel sorry for us. What we want people to see is that despite what we went through, this is the outcome. And this is the work that we're doing to make lives better for others. And the reason why these stories resonate is because it's real. Who better? The community is the expert of their own experience. I don't care how degreed you are. I don't care how much you've studied our community. To be in this community, to experience the things that young people experience when they're growing up, to understand the systemic issues that plague our communities. There is nobody better than the own community to advocate for themselves, to create the conversations that we need to create, and to reach the demographic that we need to reach in order to get in front of gun violence that's happening in our community.
With a program like Cure Violence, I think it would have saved a lot of our friends and loved ones that didn't know how to mediate conflicts. And, you know, with an open-minded person there to hear both sides, it usually helps with, you know, mediating conflicts that usually escalate to gun violence.
The advice I give to young people who are thinking about joining a gang or may already be in a gang is that it's not worth it. The end result is it's not worth it. The trauma and all the things that come with it is just detrimental, and it causes more pain and more hurt than they realize. So it's not what it's chalked up to be.
That 1 minute of thinking about that violent action can cost you a lifetime. You know, the training, you know, it makes us think before we react now, you know. After the training, you know, I'm not so quick to just jump the gun, you know. It makes you think about your actions before you act now. You don't want to never be the one that had to sit in the front row at a funeral. That's the worst seat in the house, you know, so think about that before you put somebody else in that seat.
What makes me feel good about my role as a violent interrupter is the passion that I bring to it. You know, my why in trying to keep kids and young people from making the same mistakes that I made, that makes me feel really good about my role. I take my role very seriously because I don't want to see somebody else suffer the way that I suffered, the way my family suffered, the way the victim's family suffered. So I bring all of that into work every day because it means that much to me. What makes me feel good about my role as a violent interrupter is the passion that I bring to it. You know, my why in trying to keep kids and young people from making the same mistakes that I made, that makes me feel really good about my role. I take my role very seriously because I don't want to see somebody else suffer the way that I suffered, the way my family suffered, the way the victim's family suffered. So I bring all of that into work every day because it means that much to me.
We want gun violence to end with us. Project We Deserve. We deserve healthy communities.
The space to grow up.
Food stability,
Adequate health care systems
That protect and not neglect us.
and an end to gun violence.